It's time to captain Haaland again. Or is it? Welcome to the Gianni Gw36 YouTube show. Hope you guys are well. It's game week 36. It really is the final stretch of the season. Double game week still to come in 37. Still lots to play for and still loads of differentials that can shoot you up your mini leagues. I am convinced of it. We'll talk about some of them in today's show. This is my team selection video though. So let's just have a look at the state of play with my team. I'm fresh off a wild card. As you guys know, I've stacked up big on double game weekers, some of them better than others. Nice to see the Newcastle lads come in and do well, but obviously the likes of Saka and Havertz, they've been sold by me and they've been sold by a few, rightly or wrongly. But look, we're relying on the likes of Chelsea and Spurs to deliver in 37. We're relying on Man City. Speaking of which, the big transfer for many this week will be in the goalkeeper position because many went Ederson, myself included. And you can see Ederson with a big orange flag. So is Ederson going to be out for the run-in? What do we know so far? Well, before Pep's press conference on Friday, we know that Pep said it doesn't look good. And we know we've seen Ederson pictured in a sling. When goalkeepers are pictured in a sling, you worry. You're thinking it's more than just a game. I would be very surprised if Ederson features now in the run-in. And Ortega is such a bargain. Like, you're saving over $1 million. Under 4 million. He's 3.7, 3.8. Proper cheap goalkeeper Ortega, who's now going to play every minute, I think. So Ortega in makes sense for me this week. I'm going to be waiting for Friday's press conference. Of course I am, just to know a little bit more if Pep gives us anything. Or maybe journos are leaked the news and they reveal something. It is a Friday deadline this week, remember. So my transfer this week will be Ederson out, Ortega in. Now that enables something very, very juicy, which we'll get to in a second. But the team so far this game week, and I've got a benching dilemma to discuss too. Cucurella, Burn and Gabriel. Good fixtures for those three. Palmer, Son. At the moment, it's Gordon and Foden. Haaland, Nicholas Jackson, Isak. The bench is super strong. Well, sub 1 is. At the moment, I've got Bruno benched with Maguire and Pedro Porro. And it'll be Vicario benched because Ortega will come in. But benching Bruno Fernandes doesn't sit well. Of course it doesn't. But who else do you bench? Now, many of you will be shouting at your screens going, Nicholas Jackson. Guys, I'm very unlikely to bench Nicholas Jackson against West Ham. Just can't see myself easily doing that. Like, he's still getting the chances. West Ham have been poor defensively and Chelsea at home. Unless there's a concern over Jackson's minutes, I think I'll be starting Jackson. So, who to bench out of Bruno, Son and Gordon? Now, let's do positives and negatives of each of them because this will affect people's moves this week, I hope. Right, as things stand, I've got Bruno bench. The positives are clear. Penalty appeal, playing really well, carrying Man United. The negatives are, he goes to Selhurst Park, which isn't an easy place to go. They don't concede many there. Palace are flying at the moment, and I would suggest I would have, personally, as slight favourites for that football match. I don't expect Palace to concede many. I expect Palace to probably get a draw or win the game. That's where I'm at, right? So I don't want to bench Bruno, but I might have to, because the other two guys are really good options. Gordon is now on set pieces. Burnley are terrible at them. Gordon is flying. His combination play with Isak is so good. And Newcastle were scoring goals for fun. Now, sure, the negatives are Newcastle away from home. We've all seen the numbers. We've seen Gordon away from home. It's a big enough sample size to suggest that, yeah, it's true. Newcastle aren't great away from home and neither's Gordon. A couple of returns all season for Gordon away from home. But then you also spin it and go, one of the big returns for Newcastle away from home this season was when they went to Sheffield United, a newly promoted team. They won 8-0. Well, they go to Burnley, a newly promoted team. I'm not saying they're going to go in 8-0, but they could buck the trend. Of course they could. Now, Burnley conceded nearly 3xG to Man United. Man United isn't, last weekend, Man United isn't as good an attack as Newcastle at the moment. So I really like Gordon, but sure, I could bench him. At the moment, it's probably between Bruno and Gordon. I'm like 45% likely to go Bruno, 35% likely to go Gordon, maybe 15% likely to go Son, and 5% likely to go Jackson. The reason Son is so low for me is that Liverpool defence is on the ropes at the moment. And I know going to Anfield is tough. Son, like Bruno, has the penalty appeal. Let's see how Son performs in the week. The Son-Richarlison combination, we haven't seen enough yet. Richarlison down the middle, Son on the left. So maybe Son is the guy I end up benching. I'm not sure. It legit is a 3-horse race. Maybe my odds for Son are slightly higher than 15-20%. Maybe it should be more like 25-30. Similar level to Gordon. At the moment, I am favouring Bruno. That could change. I will update you on Friday's deadline stream what I'm going to do. It really is a 3-horse race. I don't see myself benching Jackson. And obviously, Palmer, Isak, Foden and Haaland absolutely starting for me. So should we talk a bit about captaincy? Because I've got some numbers to show you. Captaincy, this one is a big decision. And then we'll talk about a few differentials. Guys, thank you for hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. And shout out, by the way, to Fantasy Football Scout for supporting the channel as well. Okay, captaincy this week really is a big discussion point because, well, there's a lot of options. There's the guys at Arsenal because Bournemouth is a good fixture. So let's look at some numbers from Fantasy Football Scout on the Arsenal, on Saka and Havertz. Let's look at the City lads, Foden and Haaland. And then, look, I'm going to chuck Bruno and Palmer into the mix as well. So in terms of attempts, Cole Palmer's putting up big numbers. Cole Palmer is averaging over 6.5 attempts per game. That's crazy numbers. 6.63 for Palmer in the last 6 game weeks per 90. Haaland's just below 4. Bruno's around 3.5 attempts. Same as Foden and Saka. Havertz just below that. But these guys are putting up good numbers. That's what you want to see. You want to see someone you're going to go, I'm going to give you the armband because I know you're getting at least 3-4 shots. And with that, how many of them are big chances? This is where it gets interesting because, sure, attempts are worth looking at. But for me, the big chances is really what you want to look at. When I'm looking at goal threat data, big chances is always one of my go-tos. XG in big chances. So whilst Palmer's got a huge number of attempts, only about a third of them are big chances, just under. Yet for Haaland, over half his chances he gets are big chances. Probably no surprises there. So Haaland, top of the charts for big chances, 2.14 versus Palmer's 1.9. And then the other guys, Bruno, Foden, Saka, Havertz, they're all under one big chance a game. So yeah, they've been scoring goals, but Bruno's averaging 1. Foden 0.86, Havertz 0.92, and Saka way down in 0.37. This data tells me it's a 2-horse race. This data tells me it's between Palmer and Haaland this week. Yes, Foden could be attractive. Yeah, punt on Havertz would be fun, or maybe on Bruno. Bruno's got the away fixture, so I'm ruling him out straight away. As you guys know, I might be benching Bruno. Palmer's at home. Havertz is at home. Haaland is at home. Now, where do you sit with those 3 players? Now, sure, Havertz is the biggest differential there. Maybe against Bournemouth, that's a good fixture matchup. Bournemouth have been playing well of late, but you massively fancy Arsenal at the Emirates. Cole Palmer faces a West Ham team leaking goals for fun, and again, not great on the road. And then you look at Man City Wolves, and yeah, I don't like necessarily backing against Wolves, but I do like backing against Haaland at home. When Haaland is at home playing against a middling team, and that's what Wolves are, if we're completely honest, they're a middling team, I usually 9 times out of 10 give him the armband. And I would suggest this week, I'm probably going in the same direction. He's had a little rest now. We know he was out injured. Cameo off the bench scored his goal last time out. Palmer's tempting. If I owned Havertz, it would be tempting. But Haaland at home feels too obvious. There is going to be opportunity in 37 and 38 to think a bit outside the box with captaincy. I'm not sure 36 is the week. 37, for example, sure, Haaland is a double game week, but they're 2 away games, not easy away games. And Son, one of his fixtures is Burnley at home. If Son does well this weekend, loads of us will captain him in 37. That could be a fun punt. In game week 38, I'm looking at bringing in a player like Kai Havertz and maybe captaining him. Let's see if the title's won by then. But, you know, Arsenal versus Everton, final day, pressure's off. It's not in your hands. 5-0 win, please. You just might see it. So, definite chances of going a little bit rogue in 37, 38 for me, and maybe for you guys. I'm not sure that's for me in 36. Maybe it is for you, and this data will hopefully help present some arguments for the likes of Palmer or Havertz. In terms of my big decisions this week, it will go down to what I do with my transfer. So I've mentioned Ortega. That seems fairly fixed if the news falls my way. But the Ortega transfer, importantly for me, it opens up a whole new ball game. it opens up enough money in the bank to be able, if I want to, transfer Foden out to De Bruyne. Now, many of you will go, why Gianni? Foden's your boy. Many of you will go, it's a sideways move. Simple question. In game week 37 and 38, who do you think gets more points, KDB or Foden? I think KDB will outscore him. Now, sure, he's a load more money, but I will have the money. That's a move I could make in 36 for a hit. Maybe I do that this week. Very unlikely. I think I give it another week of watching them both. And then in 37, I commit to either doing it or not. If I do it in 37, free transfer, I get De Bruyne instead of Foden. A differential, something a little bit different for the run-in. I'm happy to back against my boy Foden for a couple of games. Or I roll in 37 and I leave myself 2 free transfers with like 3 million plus in the bank to do something fun in game week 38. By the way, in 38, all 10 games kick off at the same time. There'll be team leads galore. There's often weird team selections going on. It could be fun to have those 2 free transfers. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't see myself going De Bruyne this week for a 4-point hit. I think that might be a little bit too soon. I do regret not going De Bruyne on wildcard. 2 assists and bonus points straight away. Can I get him in for 37? Well, yeah, I can. And the Ortega move absolutely helps that. I could try and go triple City attack and transfer Edison out to a non-Man City goalkeeper. But then which midfielder do I sell? I don't want to sell Bruno or Gordon in a double game week, or Son. Happy to sell Bruno or Gordon in 38 though. So we'll see what happens there. In terms of some differentials, there's definitely some good choices around. Like, I look straight away at Spurs and go, Richarlison will be a great differential for those that want to go there. He's going to get minutes now, probably playing as the number 9. He's got a good double game week against Burnley, one of those fixtures. Yeah, you could go big. I wonder if Man City allows us a differential move or two. Again, we worry about team selection with Pep. I'm still not sure who's first choice on either side. And again, maybe we know more against Wolves. But let's say Grealish or Doku have an outstanding performance and we think they're going to play both in 37, then maybe, just maybe, you could punt there. There's definite options. I still think at Chelsea in game week 37, someone like a Madueke could be fun. So there's loads of good options in terms of differentials too. Let me know in the comments where you're going with your move this week, and I will speak to you on the game week deadline stream on Friday. I'm looking forward to that one. So thank you for watching. Likes and subscribes welcome.